So, welcome here to Mudbox. What we're going to handle today. Welcome. I'm your instructor. Welcome. I'm your instructor, Domiko L. Cunningham, and today what we're going to look at is actually how we can set up images inside of Mudbox to be able to use as reference for our sculpting inside of Mudbox, but we're also going to talk about how to be able to extract maps off of our sculpted model so that we can go back into another program. You might be going back into Maya or Max, or you might even be going into a program such as Softimage or something else with your models. So you want to be able to take all the texture detail that you did here inside of Mudbox. You want to be able to take that back into another program. So let's take a look at how we can do that. I'm just going to use my basic head to do this with. So here inside of Mudbox, if I look at this right now, I can see that I have my model sitting in here, and I want to use, let's look in my image browser, I want to use these two images as reference images to actually model from. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that I'm in my object list, and I'm going to go here to my front view first, and I'm going to right click on my front view and say look through. And for my front view, what I am going to do, I'm actually going to take this and let's twirl this open, and I'm going to click on image plane. So right here for image plane, I don't have one turned on currently. I'm going to say import and choose the front image as her image plane. So the next thing I need to do is right here you'll see for the image plane there's a couple of properties in here, and there's one for scale. I'm going to change that to about probably 0.5, or let's see if we can go a little bit smaller than that. Let's go maybe 0.4. Alright, so I've got my image kind of set up, and the other thing that I can do is I can change the visibility of this image, so I can kind of zoom out with this. And I'm going to come in here and click back on my front camera, because there's some things about my front camera that I want to be able to do as well. So one of the things when I'm working with this model inside of Mudbox here, one of the things you can't do, and you can see when I'm zooming in now, I can't do is that my image is not really attached to my camera. The image is more so attached to the actual viewport that I'm looking through. So it's not, it says it's attached to the front camera, but in reality it's more so attached to the viewport that I'm looking at. So one thing I want to do so that I don't keep moving this, I don't want to keep moving my model around and, messing up things. So I'm going to get this kind of where I want it to start at. And I'm going to say lock pan and lock zoom. And I did that by just clicking on the camera and lock pan and lock zoom. So now I can, sculpt in here, but I can't actually move this. And actually, maybe I want to unlock pan at least. Well, really I don't. I really kind of want to keep them all locked inside of here. Once you get it where you want it, you kind of keep them all pretty much where you want it. So let's do it like right about there and say lock pan. So I'm going to do the same thing for my side view. So I'm going to go here to my side view. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to look through my side view, and I'm going to open up this and go to image plane and say import, and let's choose her head right here. I'm going to do about the same settings, like maybe 0.5, and let's turn the visibility of this down by a lot. And let's get this kind of lined up here, kind of in the side where I want it. And I'm going to come in here and go back to my side view, and I'm going to open up transform, and I'm going to lock the pan and the zoom. So now it's kind of locked down. So now if I go back to my front, if I come in here and right click and look through, you can see there's my front view. And if I look through this right here, I can look through my side view. Now alternatively, I could use my actual viewport menu. I can come in here and right mouse click inside of my view and be able to choose. So inside of my viewport, I can go, right mouse click, hold down the right mouse, and then go to switch view, and I could go and say front, and I can go in here pretty intuitively and be able to change this between my views. It's not a really big deal. So that's the first thing. Now that I've got my views in here, what I want to really do is I want to start getting the silhouette of my piece. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that I have whatever axis is my mirroring axis is turned on. So I want to mirror this on X. And the other thing that I want to do with this is I also want to get a fall-off brush that's like a pretty low brush, but I want to make my brush, I'm going to hold down spacebar so I can get my menu to pop up, make my brush really large. So that way I know that when I'm grabbing this, I'm only looking at the side view. I want to make sure that I'm actually grabbing all of this. I don't want to be leaving part of the head, and only moving pieces of it. So I can move this stuff here. Just kind of grab this, grabby grab. Make my brush even larger. Make sure I'm grabbing the whole model when I'm doing this stuff. I can better ensure that I'm actually grabbing both sides of my model as I work on this. So I'm just getting the preliminary stuff down. There's the neck, things like that. So let's get this ear into place. And I am using my tablet when I work on this, so I'm just kind of, using the tablet and getting things in place. I can also use my smooth brush to smooth these things out a little bit. So I'm just smoothing this. Some of my polygons look like they're turning and things like that, and I don't really want that. And get this stuff here and this stuff. And I can start bringing this down in size a little bit. Right about here. Start bringing this down and bring the strength of my brush down some. Just kind of pull this out a little bit. Push this in, out. So in the beginning, like always, I'm just fighting with this. Not really fighting with it. I'm just kind of using this to set up my general form, and I'm not trying to get a bunch of detail. I'm just trying to get basic form. So I'm using this as a modeling, reference. And I'm going to come in here, right click, and let's right click and go to switch views, and let's go to my front view. And I can see that the stuff that I've been doing has been working well. My model is kind of there. Now, the thing to remember is don't forget that this is not going to be a be-all, end-all for your model. The one thing that I'm looking at as I look at this face in the front view is the fact that I probably have a pretty good, one side of the model probably looks pretty good. The other side probably doesn't look so good. And I mean on the actual image. So things aren't completely matching up, but that's because the image is taken in perspective, and there's other things you have to think about that have, affected the way that the image is going to look. So just going to get this line work in here to match my lip a little bit. So I'm trying to use just one half of this and get my line set up for my lips. And that all looks pretty good. That's going to be where my nose indents. Make my brush a little bit larger. And this is going to be my cheeks. And this right here. So not spread it too far. And the nose right there. Ear. We look pretty good, actually. So if I go in here and I look through this in perspective, if I go back in here and go in here into perspective and look at this, I can see that I've done a pretty decent job of starting to mold out my face. I'm just grabbing silhouette right now. I'm not, getting a lot of stuff. So in my 3D view, I can actually look in here and make sure things are not, getting super out of order. Back of her head looks a little boxy. Let's kind of round that up a little bit. So, not too bad. Top of her head looks a little bit flat. We're going to undo some of that and make my brush larger and just kind of move, grab and move things around. Alright. So, not too bad to start off with. I've got some of the basic preliminary things in there for the face, which, always helps to start with. I'm going to make sure I get the cheeks out here. And let's bring this down in size. Let's come in here. We're going to grab inside of the nose area in here. We're going to grab that in there and kind of pulling that up and pull the little nose wingtip pieces down. Push this in just a little bit. And I'm going to make my brush a little bit larger. I'm going to grab the eye socket, or what I'm going to use as an eye socket, and kind of pull this back. So that's kind of going the way that I need it to. And then let's get this. So one thing that I like to do when I'm sculpting is think about the topology of what I'm building while I'm doing it. I don't just push and pull around polygons and just hope for the best. Like you can see, I'm trying to keep the cheek. I'm trying to keep these forms kind of in there. I'm trying to make sure my lines are following some type of topology flow. It's kind of edge flow rather. I'm not just dragging stuff around. I want to make sure that things are doing what they need to do. So let's get shift this down. Let's get shift and smooth this down right here. So you can see right now I've kind of hit the top level of what I can and can't do with this level of my model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subdivide it. And you can see I've got some more detail in this now. And I'm going to smooth that out a little bit. Let's make my brush larger. I'm going to smooth this out right here too. So smooth. And let's grab this right here. And make my brush a little bit smaller. Smoothing. Brush a little bit smaller. Smoothing. So I've got this stuff going on kind of in here. And just going to kind of pull this out. Going to kind of try to pull this out right about here. And get some detail. So you can see I brought my image in, and I'm going to go back to using it. But right now I'm just kind of working on this in 3D space, getting the forms to kind of fill out the way that I need to, and getting her kind of set up. Use my smooth brush. Let's smooth some of this stuff out. Alright, really what I like to do when I'm working with this inside of the 3D viewport is look at the form, look at the definition, and make sure that I'm really pushing and pulling the way that I should be. So what I want to do is I'm going to go back in here to my front view. I'm going to go back here and right click and say look through. So I can see there's everything in there. Everything looks okay. I got a little bit wild with her cheeks. Let's pull this stuff back in. Alright, so now I can come in here and start basically doing a little bit of sculpting. So I'm going to start to use probably just my sculpt brush. And I'm going to turn the radius down and turn the strength down. And I'm just holding down the space bar to get this menu to come up. And then I can left mouse click in the size of my brush, and then left mouse click on the strength of my brush and change them interactively. So I'm going to come in here and kind of get this to press out. Just a tiny bit. And let's look through my perspective. What I actually can do is I'm going to go in here and use more of a sharp edge and make my brush smaller. And I can go in here and do the inverse. I can hold down Control and actually cut into my mesh. Make my brush smaller. So I'm just following that line right there. And that's why I kind of took my brush and got that line in the center of the lip so it kind of acts like a natural center for my lips. Because now you can see as I'm using this, it kind of works because now it's centered out and it's easy for me to get my lips to come in here and form the way that I need them to. So just a little trick. I like to do that. And let's get this going right here. That's a little too much. Use my smooth brush to kind of bring some of that down. And I can go back in here with my sculpt. Make this a little bit larger. A little bit more strength. And go back over where my lips are. And now start pulling those lips out. Kind of this way. And make this larger. And pull them out kind of like that. Alright, so I've got this kind of going in here. Gonna smooth that a little bit. That smooth that a little bit right there. And get this kind of going. And I know it looks like it's really low detail, but we're starting to get detail into her face, which is fine. And when I'm at the level that I can't do any more with this, let's maybe say I do a little bit of work around her eye sockets. Let's say I kind of start pushing this in. Alright, so let's say I start pushing this in. So let's get that kind of carved in that way. And let's get this right here. And let's build this up right here. And let's smooth this just like that. So I'm starting to get detail and things like that into her, into her skin, and kind of get some forms and stuff in here. And, we're starting to really just get the model to come to life. And I'm probably going to subdivide her again. So Shift D to subdivide her. So now I've got way more polygons. I've got 32,000 polygons on this model. And I can start getting more detail. I can come in here and start, carving in the ear. Come to the back of this and holding Control and just kind of pushing these polygons in. Because I want to be able to kind of carve that ear out of the mound of polygons that I have on her. On the side of her head. Always smoothing things. Make sure they don't get too, out of hand. And smooth things. Smooth. Smooth this back here, definitely. It's getting ridges in her head, so let's smooth that. Alright, but you can see now the lips have started to come in actually rather nice. And I can still go back in here and do some more work on the lips, but they're starting, and that's the biggest part. I've kind of got a little bit of separation where they meet. I've got the skin kind of folded down where they meet in here. and it's not this, hard transition. I get my grab brush, maybe, and let's change the size of that brush. Maybe get this and work on more silhouette for the lips. It's kind of pulling stuff to get that to form the way that I need it to form. Alright, so holding shift and get things to smooth out. And let's get my grab brush and kind of grab out the nostril. Get it to flare a little bit. Pull these nostrils up into the nose. Let's get that out. Let's get like a really nice tight shape out of that. That's good. So I've got detail now. I'm starting to get detail on this model. And it's not, right now it's not the best. I'm just kind of, sculpting this stuff in and getting rough details right now. And I'm going to keep working with this until I get it to a point where, I'm starting to get fine details. But right now I'm not there. I'm not where I need to get fine details. But what I can do, and I'm just going to do this to show you how to extract these maps off of here. I'm going to get my sculpt brush, and I'm just going to do some stamps or something onto the skin. So let's say that we've done all this work. We've made her beautiful or disgusting, whichever one you prefer. We have her bricks up here. So we've done all this work and kind of, scooched her up. She's rather raw right now. So she got like gorilla face going on. So let's pretend like this is my final sculpt. To get these maps off of here so that I can get texture maps, I need to go, and I'm going to go in here and go to my maps, go to my UVs and maps, and I want to say, I want to do extract a texture map and say new operation. The new operation I want to extract ambient occlusion maps, I want to extract normal maps. Well, when you click on these, when I click on ambient occlusion, you can see that this whole thing opens up down here. Well, the target mesh would be level 0 because that's the first one that I started actually when I first came into Mudbox, and then level 2 is the high version of it. So down here, I'm going to look all the way down, and I'm going to look down to where it says output options, and I'm going to choose to output a texture, and the texture that I'm going to output is going to be, I'm going to click on the 3 dots. Let's go to my desktop, and I'm going to output a targa, and I'm going to call this face, and just say save. And you also, if you need to change the size of the map, you can also change your map size by changing this to 2048 for your image properties. If you need to change the shadow size, you can change that inside of here too. Because right now I'm doing an ambient occlusion map. The next map I want to do is my normal map. I'm going to come down here, look at my normal, and my normal is going to be set to the same thing that my ambient occlusion was, so it's 2048. Anti-aliasing, you want to turn this on if you want to get a smoother result. I would suggest something like a 4-time smoothing, which is what it keeps it from having jagged edges in your images. And I want to call this face underscore normals, and just save it. So nothing's happened yet. What I need to do at this point is I'm going to hit the extract button. When I click on extract, you can see it will say map extraction results, and it's actually extracting them out. If you look down here in the bottom left hand corner, these guys are getting extracted little by little by little, and it's going pretty quick on this machine. Depends on the speed of your machine. It can be a pretty slow process when you have a lot of texture maps, or it can be pretty quick if you only have, because we only did 2 maps out of here. We only realistically did the ambient occlusion map as well as the normal map. So we didn't really extract a lot of information off of this model. And you got to remember too, this model is not anywhere near full finished production level. This is just like a little goofing around type of thing. So when it's done, it'll tell you that map extraction finished successfully, and you can hit OK. You can hit close. If I look now onto my desktop, you will see that I have a PNG. I actually have, that's my normal map, and that's not my main inclusion. That's not either. Oh, I can't show those inside of here. Yeah, it won't show it. It won't show a targa inside of the Windows previewer. I can show it to you inside of Photoshop though. Let's open up Photoshop CC. Give it a second to open up. And what I'm going to do, there we go. Thought CC might not show up because I've got a whole lot of stuff in here. Alright, so you can see here inside of Photoshop, here is my ambient occlusion map. But my two maps were extracted out, and it came out just fine. And that's how you extract your maps out for use in some other program besides the intended program, which is Mudbox. And if I look in here on my layers and I go to my paint layers, you'll see that my paint layers, I now have a diffuse, which is this, this normal, this ambient occlusion, which is basically a black and white and shade of gray map. That's my ambient occlusion map, which goes in your diffuse slot, and then I have my normal map. And if I turn my normal maps off, you can see with the normals, without the normals, it gives me a little bit more detail in my model. Other than that, that is how you are able to use images as reference inside of Mudbox, as well as how you extract off maps from Mudbox. And if you have any more questions, you can leave me a line here on YouTube, or you could also email me at info@cstudiosinc.com. Have a great day. See you soon.